At the start of April, I signed on to the Ruins SMP for the first time and met the knight Hawktail. Together we went exploring for a mushroom biome, but instead angered God and found dead animals, so we built a cool altar to smooth things over. The next time I joined, I decided to stop being homeless and built a house with the help of Ray and Hawktail, as well as surprise guest Isros, who is also a god but not the one we angered. Isros told Ray and I that Acacia was weird, so we agreed and started a cult. Later on, Isros killed the god we angered so they could eventually get a seat on the Pantheon, which is like god government, and we thought that was pretty cool, so Mika joined us and we built a temple with a creepy basement. The Empire found the temple and it turns out they don't like other gods, so they claimed it in the name of Tyus. Hawk asked me if I knew anything and offered me a bribe before I gave any info, so I accepted and gave no info. Then we went on a field trip and found some ruins, so we robbed it. With my new gear, I decided to invest in a bee farm, as well as learn redstone so I can make our creepy temple basement even creepier by hiding it from the government. Around this time, we also met Whisper, who we all agreed could do no harm and adopted as our child. Turns out harm can be done to Whisper, because they die. A lot. Isros liked our temple and became our sugar parent and offered us gifts for doing good. They also started helping me repress all the bad shit in my life with some good old memory erasure. We also discovered Ray was homeless this whole time, so Mika and I built him a scuffed house as part of our socialist scheme. Ray also got caught coming out of the temple basement by the Empress in the night and was now wanted by the government. I took up a part-time job as a road worker and scammed the government out of 20 netherite ingots because I'm a good businessman. My swarm of bees also decided to hate the government and I became a himbo bee lord who flirts with the Empress. Isros decided the Empress and the god Tyus both sucked, so we hatched a plan to lock up the knight and kill the Empress, while Isros goes after Tyus. At this point, we decided to build a prison and get more friends to help us take down the government, so we recruited Ash and Lunar to help. I also made a second secret basement to act as a bunker to avoid the government. The Empire built a temporary housing facility across from the fun amusement park. Both of these were falsely advertised, as the park was very deadly and the temporary housing seemed to be pretty permanent. Ash rode the only real ride at this fun amusement park and was in fact killed as a result. The Empress met with me and tried to convince me Isros was bad, but since Isros was making cool rifts appear everywhere, I was not convinced, and instead tried to convince the Empress to be cooler and speak with Isros. We were finally ready to put our plan into action, but not before realizing Inferno also disliked the government and recruiting him to help us out. With enough hands at the ready, I lured the knight down into the temple basement under the guise of investigating the temple where everyone ambushed them and trapped them in jail. We were somewhat shocked this worked, and decided to celebrate with explosives and blow up the statue of the Empress. We were all feeling pretty good when a mysterious library appeared out of nowhere. It has copies of every single thing written down in the entire SMP, including personal journals and mysterious to-do lists. This was concerning for many reasons, as I realized I wrote down a lot of incriminating things, which was a terrible idea in retrospect. My swarm lovingly called this place the Lorebrary. At this point, I started to think maybe Hawktail was sincere in their dislike of me, since they put Kill Nate on their to-do list. I talked to Hawk and they still seemed pretty angry, so I gave them some time to think. We had a PvP training montage to blow off some steam, then decided to break into the castle and steal their stuff. Upon returning from the castle, the Order of Isros started getting mysterious notes in our pockets, teasing us. Turns out it was the mean fellow who bullies Whisper, and we didn't like it, but he did revive Shout, so that was good. We then received word that a new person named Tabs joined the server, so we all ran over to harass her with our love and affection, and may have terrified her a little. I then finally got a chance to go back and read Ray's journal in the Lorebrary, where I figured out that Isros helped me out with the memory erasure, but Ray is remembering stuff for me. We talked and I asked Ray not to tell me specifics of what happened since obviously I repressed it for a reason. Hawktail seemed to cool down and wanted to talk, so we went back to say hi. They seemed very sad, and we reluctantly freed them since they're also not a fan of the Empress and are working against the Empire. Hawk also removed Kill Nate from their to-do list, so I knew we were still besties and trusted them. The good vibes quickly ended when a sign demanding one of us be executed showed up outside the temple. There were also some very tasteful gallows. Ender gave me a totem of undying, so I volunteered as tribute. I then asked officially using macaroni art for my execution to be delayed until the 26th, so Ray could watch me die as well and enjoy the trauma. The Empire agreed on the condition I rebuild the statue of the Empress, so I did so flawlessly. Inferno, Ray, and I all discussed the matter, and we decided to catch them by surprise and begin an all-out war during my execution, hopefully without me actually dying. Hawk and I finally confronted our emotions like adults, and by that I mean we said mean things and I stormed off. Hawk then blew up the execution sign and the gallows, so now emotions are even more confusing. My imaginary friend Deaf Nod Hawk and I decided the thing to fix all of this would be a casino, so we can all have crippling gambling addictions, so we built one together with Ray, Tabs, and Ender. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this, consider subscribing. You can also follow me on Twitch where I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. There is a link down below in the description.